Hi Aquarius, welcome to your end of May 2017 General Tarot Update. It's Raina here. I'm also going to be picking a card from the Energy Oracle deck by Sandra and Taylor, and I am going to put out the card right when I pick these tarot cards because I keep forgetting. And this is a general focus, so it can include any area. I do have a love reading that's going to be published, or whatever you call posted. I have love readings for each sign, and they will be posted next week, which is, I'm talking about between maybe the 11th and the 15th or something like that. Well, this is definitely a reading that seems specifically more of a love reading. I'm going to pick an extra card because of the outcome card. Okay. Very interesting. Getting a lot of swords. Well, not a lot, but 3 out of the 8. And let's pick that. Let me shuffle for a second so I don't forget. Okay, I think I got this for one other side. Yin Yang. Okay, put this on the side. All right. So the heart of the matter, Aquarius, is the 5 of Cups, which is a card of mourning the loss of something or someone. And this could be a disappointment in love. This could be, in some cases, a disappointment in some kind of a job. I personally feel that if it is a work-related situation, it's related to a home business. Because I get for the past position the Queen of Pentacles. The Queen of Pentacles in work situations can be working from home. So you may have embarked on that and you had all these exciting thoughts about how this was going to be just like take off like a rocket, and it hasn't done so. I would say do not be too hasty in writing something off. If it has just started, sometimes it does take, if you're doing something especially online, but anything, I shouldn't say especially online, but when you're starting something, it takes time for it to get going. I know when I started, which as a lot of you will see this, it will mark my 2nd anniversary of doing readings on YouTube on May 10th. And it took me a couple of months to get clients. So, but you know, it was very interesting. Once I got that first client, then it started to come. And that is not statistically logical, because if you're getting thousands and thousands of views without a client, and that was what was really crazy making, and then all of a sudden you get a client, and then you get all these things, that the law of averages would suggest that it would have come sooner, and then it would be still sporadic. And of course, you always get periods where it's busier than others. I mean, sometimes you get those lulls again, even when you've been established. And I'm sure that's true for many people, for whatever reason. But I think that a lot of what happens to us is energetic. In other words, it's not based on just the tangible evidence in front of us. Same thing, I know this is a tangent, but the same thing like losing weight, releasing weight, is that it's not just calories in, calories out, and exercise. There's another unseen component which can factor into things. And in your case, that's why I said hang in there. Yeah, I should have said hang in there. This isn't advice. This is just saying now that you're in a wait and see mode. And actually, this is really good, especially if you let go of trying to control the situation, Aquarius. That is even the best. This is a card of letting go and letting God, and you should definitely do that. And God can, you know, the universe is saying the universe is like a substitute for saying God, because you don't want to make it just like this one entity. It could be your spirit guides, your angels, your, I don't know, just your higher self conspiring in your behalf. But the mortal part of you may be fear-based, because look at the higher message. And maybe as the higher message, it's saying this is an inside job. This is energetic. You have self-limiting beliefs that are keeping you from your highest good right now. In terms of any relationship matters, you may have felt disappointment by someone who is either the mother of your child, your biological mother, or an earth sign individual. Could be Taurus, a fellow Virgo. Oh, why did I say you know, it's so funny, Aquarius. I was doing Virgo's reading and I wanted to say Aquarius. I don't know, some of you may be dealing with a Virgo. I mean, with an Aquarius, with a Virgo person. But a Virgo or Capricorn. Now, the thing about this person is maybe you thought that you had a future with him or her, and for some reason it's not working out. Now, maybe it's incompatibility. Maybe you're trying to make something work that never really had a chance in the first place. It's interesting. I always like to lump the different elements together and see how they interact. Earth and air are very much opposed in some ways. But one thing that they have in common is detachment. And so they're not coming from a place of emotion. Yes, it's a gross generalization. Now, that can be good for some people who, you know, Aquarians, who don't want to have a partner with someone who is placing emotional demands on them, creating drama all the time. They want that rational, cool, friendly, but not intense kind of interactions with somebody, be it a friend. And you think of your lovers as friends too. So it's not like you separate friends from lovers anyhow. But I don't want to say problem, but the challenge with an earth sign for an Aquarian is that you are not primarily geared towards materialistic pursuits. You are more intellectual, and you can feel a sense of impatience when you're dealing with someone who is too interested in talking about their house or even their children to some degree. To you, that's family may be too much part of that worldly conversation. And you're more interested in ideas and more interested in all of the things that promote freedom for you. And this is a card of feeling trapped in some situation. So that's one of the reasons why I say it. I would say out of all the three earth signs that a Virgo person, that's why that was on my mind, would be best for somebody like an Aquarius, but it's a weird, I think it's an in conjunction. Yeah, it is, I think. Wait a minute, Libra, yeah, I think it's an in conjunction, which is like 150 degrees. It's very weird, a weird angle, and not necessarily all that comfortable, but I just think overall that you would get along best with Virgos of all the earth signs. So what else? Oh, and I was going to say too that sometimes you do end up attracting Taurus because of the square, the angle of the square, which is irritating, but also things, you know, opposites attract sometimes. Okay, so that sense of oppression. And I see that, you know, there's some cards that are very, like, there's a little bit of stuff going on. Remember, too, that swords represents thought. So you have to watch out for thinking too much, all the air signs. But particularly with you, I would say be in touch with your feelings. Don't become too abstract where you rationalize your feelings and either pine away for somebody who is not good for you or lament. Yeah, and that would be the same thing. Lamenting a loss where it really isn't a loss, where it was inevitable. As a fixed sign, you may be adverse to change, and that might be why you're doing it. The challenge card is the Ace of Cups, so it's a new beginning in love that is thwarted somehow. It doesn't mean that it is prevented forever, though. Just remember that. So if you feel sadness about some kind of situation, maybe it was a missed opportunity. The timing may be off for some reason. Maybe you're in love with somebody who's married and they are not getting divorced, and you're sad about that. But it doesn't mean it's not going to happen. An ace is a beginning. So maybe it's just a matter of time before you can make this happen. Again, we're coming off of a month earlier where we had Venus retrograding and going direct. Mercury is getting back up to speed at the end of May. So this might just be miscommunications and people from the past coming into the picture, maybe mucking things up in some cases. The card that represents the advice or what's coming in, and I think in this case this would be advice, is the Three of Cups. Enjoy socializing. And the reason I think this is particularly important for you, Aquarius, is because when you're a fixed sign, you can get very, very fixated, obsessed with something, and it can really block your energy, where you're just sitting there pining away or just refusing to move on. You're very social, like the Three of Cups. You tend to have a large network of friends. This can be a time when that is really important for being able to move on, getting on with your life. So never underestimate the power of friendship. And also the other thing too is what will happen is that it could lead you to meet somebody new, to circulate and meet somebody new. And that would be good too. Even if it's, you don't have to jump into a new relationship, but just to take your mind off of something that may be dead and buried in a lot of ways. But it's very interesting for the outcome. We have a card that is associated with a sense of rejection, the Three of Swords. But it's also, as advice or as an outcome, it could be that you decide to cut something off completely and abruptly. So again, if there's some kind of a residual relationship, maybe somebody you were supposed to be with somebody, and then, you know, like let's say you both agreed to leave your marriages and you left yours and the other person didn't, and that felt like they were going back on their deal, and yet you were still holding out hope. You might say, you know what, the best thing for me to do is just to cut it off very quickly and painlessly. Now, I'm getting also, because I did pick another card, just because the Five of Swords is one of those cards that leaves me wanting more. The Seven of Swords, which suggests to me that for some people, you might have to do this in a very, not an underhanded way, but in a bit of a subtle kind of a way. Maybe not directly, like, get out of my life. There's a saying, never let them know that you've broken up with them. So you might have to just keep increasing the amount of time between phone calls or text or what have you, so that it's very subtle and that the other person doesn't see that you're phasing them out of your life. In the case of any job offers, because I do feel like some people may, that's what the Ace of Cups might have been, bad timing with job offers. I feel like you would be very, it would benefit you to network with people, as evidenced by the Three of Cups. And also cut off ties with someone or something that is going against your wishes. So for instance, you know, with the Eight of Swords, if you're starting your own business and you have naysayers, those kinds of people may not be nourishing your spirit. And I would say these kind of people are. So you may have to look at the people that you surround yourself with and see if they are helping or hindering you to progress. Because they may be feeding into the part of you that's like, what if this won't get taken, you know, what if I can't make this happen? And you want to be around people who have your back and who want to see you succeed. So let me read the card for the Oracle, Yin Yang, number 22. And by the way, this is a master number. It's a master builder number. It adds up to 4, which is the number of stability. Let's see here. It says, this card represents, I think you can see it, so I'm not going to hold it up. This card represents, well, it says passive, active, intuitive, logical. And yes, you guys, it's funny. This is perfect for you, because I was going to say, oh yeah, Aquarius is logical, but you're known as psychic. Of all the air signs, that kind of, you know, the Uranian, very quick impressions. This card represents energetic life cycles, and its purpose is to help you identify the particular cyclic energy moving into or out of your experience. In its upright position, it heralds a yin cycle, where most of the action seems to be happening under the surface of things. This is a time of great receptivity, intuition, and gestation. External circumstances may be forcing you to go within and examine present activity. It's an especially good time for completion, so wrap things up. Yin cycles often call you to be passive, yielding, and reflective, so open up to these sides of your nature. Being is more than acting. Being more than acting is the intention here. And you know, as soon as they were talking about yin cycles, thinking about what was in your 12th house, and that's Capricorn. Pluto's in Capricorn. Your spiritual, the mystical side of you is being totally reshaped. And so you may have some until 2023, you may have some very interesting psychic experiences that can be very transformative also, Aquarius. So just keep that in mind as well. I hope you enjoyed this. If you'd like a private reading, please click on the link below this video. Otherwise, have a great rest of May, Aquarius. Bye.